following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin. Hey everyone, this is Christine.
Hi, I'm Jaida.
This is 50 Shades of Bullshit.
You know what? I'm sick, Jaida. I'm Jaida.
Jada's having a day. Jaida is having a day. Hi.
Hey,
welcome
everyone.
To the show, everyone.
I'm sorry I'm so nasally. I feel like I have the Ebola virus that has not gone away. And it's been a day. But hello, beautiful. How are you?
Hello. I'm all right. Oh, so for our listeners, we were not live last week. They probably realized that. We had to pre-record because I went to New York City and spent the weekend there. And I drove up to Jersey and had a wedding that I was doing. The wedding turned out perfectly. The brides were amazing. I loved them. New York. Wow. Okay.
Amazing. Right?
Can I just say that every time I go to New York, the deeper in love I fall?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I feel the same way. I'm there at least once a month, and I feel like,
I just had an amazing time. A friend of mine was there, and I took the ferry from where I was staying over to the bottom of like the business district of New York City. Down there where the Twin Towers had been. So I took the ferry down there, and my friend was waiting for me, and then we went over to that really old the oldest restaurant in New York. It's where Washington gave his final speech.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Yeah,
I don't think I've known that. As many times as I've gone there, I don't think.
Oh, so good. The food is so good. The atmosphere is so fun. And I had been there before when I was there for 9/11, 20th anniversary when I was filming. And then we got on the city bikes and we went down to the tip of New York, where I was, and rode the bike on the edge of New York, the Jersey edge of New York, all the way up to way high, way up above Central Park, and then jotted over, went through Central Park, and I got to see the Met.
The Met is
amazing. Oh my God.
Right?
And the museum.
Do you watch it?
What's that?
Do you watch the Met Gala when all of the celebrities are there? Oh
no, but I have to because it was the coolest thing. I stood in front of Monet and Van Gogh and the 14-year-old little dancer statue, and I cried. I was so moved because I was like, I'm not seeing it in a book. I'm not seeing it online. It is not a copy. It is the real fucking deal. And it was so beautiful and so moving. Oh, just like, wow. And then I saw this incredible documentary on the history of New York City at the Museum City of New York. And then we went to these really great restaurants. We watched the sunset off of the patio balcony of his building, and then went down and had dinner. And then I caught the ferry back, and it was a awesome day.
Oh,
Awesome day.
I
And
love
then
that.
the next night, I went to an Irish pub, met a cool couple, chilled for a couple hours, and then went around the block to where this really cool place was. It was a karaoke
Mm-hmm.
bar. And most karaoke bars in New York have individual rooms that you have to rent out to sing in.
Yeah.
This was an old-fashioned karaoke bar like they have here in
Oh
LA.
my gosh.
And I met all these people and had a great time, and it was, so much fun. They all thought I was the best singer in the world, and I was like,
Oh,
"I
so we
love
got
this
to
place."
do karaoke. We got to do karaoke. For those of you that don't know, Christine has become the, the most amazing recruiter. Like she stalk you in a gym. She will
Right?
get you in a McDonald's line if she feels that you are single and could be a great catch. Listen, she's all here for it, and then she calls me.
Yep, yep. That's what I did this morning at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
knew that you had that a specific person that you needed a specific kind of person for, and I just kept looking at this dude thinking, first of all, he's hot as Hades. I mean,
I mean,
wow.
that's an understatement, but yes.
And you know how you can kind of just get a vibe from people?
Yeah.
Well, I know what it's like to get a vibe from people,
Yeah.
and I thought he had a great vibe. So I was just waiting for him to finish one exercise to move to another, and then I bamboozled him. I'm like,
I mean,
bamboozled,
bamboozle,
maybe
well
not.
done, my friend. Bamboozle, well done.
I said, "Hey, can I bother you for a minute?" I was like,
Man, this man.
"I'm recruiting for a recruiter. I'm a recruiter for a matchmaker." You should have seen his face. He was
Thank
like,
you. I mean, that face I've seen, and job well done, ma'am.
"Thank you. Hopefully this match will work."
Yeah, I'm really
I'll
excited
keep
about the
my eye
match.
out.
I'm sorry. As you know, I'm just slightly distracted for like 20 seconds.
Yes, Jada has a
Um,
a match going on tonight, a date going on tonight, so she has to monitor some stuff. Um,
okay, so let's just talk about something.
yeah.
So yes, I have a match this evening, and
Uh-huh.
this gentleman who was matched with my client in New York City is not at the date. So she's been
Ah,
sitting there for 30 minutes, and
wow.
he messaged me and said he's in a meeting. I, I don't want to say much about this gentleman, but he has a pretty high profile job.
Job? Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and I
Mm.
just feel upset by the fact that I have someone sitting there, especially a woman, like at a restaurant. I mean, it's just,
Yeah,
it's,
that's not okay.
well, and he wants to reschedule. And so I'm going back and forth. And she's like, I'm going
Well,
to have, I think I'm going to have a good time. But it's like,
he's gonna have to go to her. He is gonna have to
that's what I
make this
said.
up.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
I did. Country Corners Gazette. I did tell the woman, but the thing that's crazy is that he didn't tell me until
She
literally
was
like
already sitting there by
already
herself.
there.
Oh,
And so she's sitting there waiting, and then I get this message. So it I'm all about like branding, and I do what I do because I'm obsessed with love and I love seeing people together. So it's so upsetting to me when I work so hard and then one person is like, sorry, got a meeting. But then
I
he's
have a
like,
question.
yeah,
oh, yeah.
So, is it possible that he walked in, saw she was sitting at the table, then walked out and texted you and said he was in a meeting? Just saying, he's not that type of ass, right?
no, this person, no, no. I
So,
know
is that
his
meeting
credibility.
so occupying his time that he couldn't 20 minutes prior to getting there, or whatever time it would have took to drive there,
Mhm.
he couldn't have called that much time into the meeting and said, look, we got to reschedule this?
Yeah.
You would
I
think.
can't say this because no one will know who he is because this place has 1 million employees, but this particular person works for the White House. and he's in New York on business. So that's the only reason why I would want to give him grace, because there's so much happening now that, you know, you never know. But at the same
Right.
time, have this woman sitting there like waiting. It was a 45-minute drive in New York traffic from where she was to get to this location. And he texted me literally 20 minutes before the date that he's in a meeting. And he's like, well, I may be able to make it a little bit later. And I'm like, I'm not about to have her sitting there waiting. Like, that's not
All that time? That sucks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, everything is fucking 45-minute drive in New York City.
Oh God, of course. It's like DC. It's the same thing. Like,
It is
traffic.
crazy.
So yeah, I'm a little frustrated, but I'm trying to work on my energy, and I'm so excited to see you because yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I've been a little frustrated myself today. I'm on the struggle bus myself. So I hear you. I understand.
What's happening in your world? Tell me what's going on.
You know, I had that money investment and
Yeah.
distribution for the Nolan Miller project.
Yeah.
And the two guys that wanted to do this all these fucking years disappeared on us and are not responding. And so Barbara took the money and invested it somewhere else. And just frustrated.
I know.
It's just
That was a
frustrating.
big project, and it was an amazing project too.
I spent a year of my life on it, and now they're going to have to owe me money, and they're going to have to pay it. They're going to have to ante up now because I'm not playing their bullshit anymore. This is, you know what? You had a gift staring you in the face, and
Mhm.
you're going to be so paranoid and asinine that you're going to walk away from it. Well,
Yeah.
you know what that tells me? That tells me the universe is protecting me from something, because when you are paranoid about something, that's typically your projection of what you are.
Yeah.
So if
100%.
you're paranoid about someone cheating on you, well,
That's
you're
Mhm.
probably the problem.
Mhm.
Do you think, Charles is saying, do you think someone else is going to try and run with the project? I'll
Mm.
tell you what I think, Charles. You're right. You're really damn close on that. I have been thinking all this time that they want to see if they can get somebody else to fund it and shoot it the way they want it. But this is the problem. Two other production companies that they went to said that they would do the film, but they wanted to buy them out for $200,000 and they would do whatever they wanted with it. And they did not like that idea. Barbara and I are here to give them what they want and to help them see this through in the best way possible. Whereas now they think that they've gotten this sizzle reel that I did, and they think that they can then go get money from all these women, these older women who were actresses that are wanting to interview for it. Well, they're all dying. They're all old. They're all in their 90s. There's not a lot left of them. And they think that they're going to have control over the film if they find somebody else. But what they don't know is that they're not. And so they can try to run with this, but now they owe me a lot of money for shooting the sizzle. And that's a year worth of work that I did on a project for them that they're now going to owe me for. So they're going to have to ante up because they fucked up. And good luck trying to find somebody else who's going to do what we were going to do.
Oh, I'm so sorry, because it was such a beautiful sizzle reel, and like so much was, I mean, I know just from like us being friends how much you put into that. So that's so disheartening.
It is. But you know what? I need to think. I pulled a card right before I came on.
I hope it's the date card. I hope it's the show the fuck up card, because
right. It said it's going to turn out better than what I thought. So that's why I really do think that, you know, The universe is just out there protecting me. At the moment, I feel like it's hurting, but that's okay. I will be fine. I will have other projects. So, George
Um,
Romero,
yeah.
the producer,
Hmm.
he was texting me today. He said the money for Darling of the Derby is still coming. That the guys are still doing it. It's just taking longer than they thought, which is fine.
Okay. Well,
And he also said that he's going to shoot a couple of films out there, and he's going to be named film commissioner out there in Kentucky, not for the state of Kentucky, for his
yeah.
county.
Yeah.
And he wants me to come out and film some films with him, but I have to come in with investors to be
Mm,
able to shoot.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, everything will work itself out. Like, we already know that that's how things
Yeah.
work. Everything will work itself out. Um, okay, I'm
So-
over this whole date situation. So I just sent my last text. So I want to focus on our topic. I'm
Yeah.
very excited to talk about it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month in
Yep.
October.
Yep.
Um,
And yep.
So I'm extremely excited just to talk about a lot of different things. Like, you and I have both been through different situations, and
Right.
I want to talk about like boundaries and just, I mean, there's so many
Mhm.
different things. So, and maybe
Mhm.
you pull a card for that later, but I would absolutely love to hear from, of course, our people, our tribe, our listeners,
Yeah.
to see what questions they have for
So
our story.
yeah, so healing from past relationship trauma,
Mm-hmm.
that's a hell of a journey.
Mm-hmm.
And it may take some people, I don't know, shorter time than others. It's taken me a lifetime, but
That's
then
what
it's also been a lifetime of trauma. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
telling myself I got to give myself grace and know that I am healing and that I'm getting there. Um Unfortunately, we all know, cuz I've been so vocal about my life, that just not knowing any better and not coming from a good example and trying to heal and trying to survive on my own. I probably more than likely damaged my kids because of it. And,
Mm-hmm.
kids are the fallout, and I
Sure.
feel horrible about it. I mean, I didn't purposely try to hurt my children in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
But, I know what it's like to grow up with a mom who's got a lot of generational trauma going on as well. And watching her try to navigate life. I
Mm-hmm.
just knew I wanted to do it differently than she did.
Yeah.
And then I wound up doing the same fucking thing. In a sense, she married a man who abused me badly, and she did not protect me, whereas I did not marry anybody to hurt my children at all. They did not. They hurt me. They did not hurt my children.
Yeah.
Me being hurt my children in a way, but hopefully they're adults now, and they can go on their own healing journey and forgive and let go of their own trauma and heal and be happy as well.
You know what? I think that's when I think about like domestic violence, and it's such a touchy topic.
Mhm.
But I think about myself and my own journey, and as you know, and everyone that listens to us know, I have two sons, and they're older. And I met my ex-husband when I was 14. So I met him like high school, and I mean, he was like my first the boyfriend, like my first everything. And we
Mm.
got married very young at 20 and all these things. But I think about Jaida back then. So
Mhm.
certain things that he would say to me, or behaviors that he would do, I didn't necessarily consider domestic violence.
Mm.
But there are
Mhm.
things, there's emotional abuse. And then there were little things like, oh, he had a bad day. He drank too much. Like he choked me or did this or whatever. And it's just like, no, it's not a big deal because this isn't who he is. So I think there's so much
You made excuses for him.
women. Yeah, there's so much to be said for those women that make those excuses. And now, obviously, I mean, I've been divorced a million years and
Yeah.
have no contact with him. He has very little contact with my sons, which is unfortunate.
Mhm.
But there's so many women that I feel are in situations and don't necessarily know certain things are abusive. So if someone's saying you're fat, or all these things, like that's emotional abuse and it's emotional trauma. I think there's so many just different things that women are not necessarily aware of that can be abusive. And not just women. I want to say a little caveat because there's men that can be abused as well.
Yeah, they can. And my nephew lives with his girlfriend, and she is mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive to him. And he's always calling me crying and upset. And I just say, honey, you just got to find that day, that strength, that backbone, that courage that is going to help you walk out that door and, call me happy that you left instead of crying that you have to go back. And I get it. It's his life. He can do that. But I understand there is also psychological damage
Right.
or abuse that people can do. I know for a fact that I went through some. Um, I had a husband that beat the crap out of me. He was physically and emotionally abusive. He would fuck with me, Jesus. And then I had a really great husband who was good everywhere except for the emotional connection. There was no real deep emotional connection between us. We had very little physical connection, and then we raised kids together, and we just had this normal everyday go through life, and there was just no connection. There was no real joy or love or anything, and I walked away from that. And then I was with another one that did not hit me, but he was mentally and emotionally and kind of verbally abusive. He would he would torment me when I was sad and depressed, and he would like
Like he
needle
would
me.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
He I'm not naming names because I don't want to do that. But he knew I had emotional damage. He knew I was damaged, and everything from my past, he would use it against me. Everything that I had ever shared with him, he would use it as a weapon against me. Um, he would he knew that I struggled with in the past suicide attempt. I had tried to
Oh,
kill
wow.
myself when I was
Oh my
21.
gosh, Christine, I never knew that.
Yeah,
This is
sorry.
gonna make me so sad.
When I was 21, I was trying to really for 3 years get away from the step monster who had abused me so badly. And I turned to my mom and I was like, "You gotta get him to stop. He is calling me and he is just he's stalking me." It was bad.
He's abusing
And
me.
he was
Yeah.
still trying to abuse me. And I told my mom, "You gotta make him stop." And she was like, "No, no, no." And I had said something to her about the abuse, and she said, "I know." And when she said I knew, my whole world just collapsed.
Mm.
And I lost my mind. And I had no will to live. None. I had no hope. And I tried to kill myself. And my roommate and a friend who was from out of town came to the apartment. Obviously, I did not know they were coming back.
Yeah.
And they found me and saved my life. So my ex-husband knew this about me, and he did everything in his power to manipulate me into thinking that it would be a great idea to do that again.
Oh, Christine, yeah.
So, there is so many levels
There's
of
so many
domestic
levels.
abuse.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women are ashamed and they think it's their fault. They chose them. What did they do to deserve that? And I'll tell you now, nobody deserves it. Nobody's done anything to deserve it. There are just bad people in this world and they prey on vulnerable
Women
and
and men. I mean, I will say that
yeah.
too. Like there are men, and I've talked to men, and obviously being in the matchmaking space and being in a space of like love and relationships and dating, I've talked to men that have shared with me they have been in abusive relationships, whether it's the woman took his phone and went through his phone and then snapped and went crazy, or
Mm.
whether it's I mean there's so many things. So the one thing I do want to make clear is that domestic violence is not just geared towards women. I mean,
No,
there are
it's
men,
towards everyone.
it's
Yeah.
towards everyone, but I also feel like it's not as visible for men. And I think
Mhm.
maybe
Mhm.
it could be that they're a little, I don't even want to say a little more private, because even when I was going through my situation, I was very private. My family knew because they just know me.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like a man coming out and saying, this woman has hit me, this woman has been emotionally abusive, this woman
Yeah.
has done all the things,
Yeah.
is very different.
Could be embarrassing, could be humiliating, could be, you
Mhm.
know, they worry that people are gonna say, "Well, what did you do?" Well, welcome to a woman's life.
Welcome to a woman's life.
Yeah,
Like,
we are always asked,
woman's
"What did
life.
we do?"
I know in my situation, and unfortunately, it's affected my kids a little bit. Like my oldest son was he saw a lot, and I think that affects how he manages relationships today. My youngest son was only like 2 or 3 years old. Just don't put up with it. But I feel like it affects every single, like, it affects a lot of different things. It
It
affects a lot
does.
of things. Yeah.
Now, Anastasia said, "Just don't put up with it. The first sign is to leave." Um, you
Sometimes
would think
that easy.
that logically you could just go, "Okay, whatever. No, I'm out. Peace out."
Yeah.
But I will tell you what happens.
Hmm.
You are seduced by love and attention and affection, and that you are charmed, and so is everybody in your life, by
Hmm.
this person.
Hmm.
um, they give you a false sense of security. They think they make you feel like they are perfect and they're perfect for you. They're your soulmate. They get you to marry them or move in with them.
Yeah.
And then they start doing things like my ex-husband used to take my paychecks. He would go and get the paychecks and put it into his account. And this is before it was auto deposited.
Oh
We
my gosh. Yeah.
um I they separate your family from you. They separate you
Yeah.
from your friends.
Yeah.
They make it difficult where you don't have any money or any resources. Sometimes it gets so far that you have children with them. And then one day,
Ding ding.
boom, and it starts little. It starts with maybe they pushed you, or maybe they just called you stupid, or maybe they
Mhm.
degraded you in some way and said, "Oh, baby, if you get fat, I'll leave you." And you seem to get a little extra. It doesn't matter whether it's psychological, emotional, physical. It
It's
starts
not
little.
that easy to leave. Like for me, in my instance, I mean, I was 14 years old when I met him, and I essentially grew up with this person. Um,
Right.
and it started little. It started with, I'm in high school, and it was the, oh my gosh, do you really need to eat that? Do you really need to have that? Do you really need to do that? And then it became, and he was 3 years older than me, so it's like, the
Mm,
where are you going, what are you doing? And this is a time when there was no cell phones. I mean, they were like the big, like, huge phones, but
right.
so we
Hmm.
didn't do. um and it became very uncomfortable, but like I wasn't used to it, so I felt,
Right.
because I was seeing this guy that I loved, and I hadn't necessarily seen loving relationships other than my grandparents, which
Right.
bless their souls, they passed away.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought this was normal. So
Right.
for him to show up at my high school and just like act an entire ass, and then when we continued to date, and then we had kids, and then it became um just it was just so I didn't really realize the situation I was in until
Mm,
so many people told me, Jada, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I was so obsessed with this man and so in love with this man. But again,
right.
met him when I was 14 and he's all I knew. So,
Well, grooming is a big deal, especially with young girls or
yeah,
young men.
yeah,
Grooming is a big thing. They groom you. They make you fall for them. A young impressionable teenager has all these feelings and emotions because their hormones are changing and they're becoming these adults before they're adults. And when an older person grooms you,
mhm,
your first love is the hardest to get over.
yeah.
It
I
it
mean,
is
even to this day, like, not
the
that I
hardest.
mean, I'm completely over him, but
Right.
I'm so sad for my sons
Mm,
um, because they don't necessarily have the best relationship with him.
right.
But at the same time, it's just now being in this space of relationship coaching and dating and matchmaking and knowing all the things that I know. It's like, wow, like what was I
Right.
doing? But I was a child when I think about it. I mean, I
Right.
don't know what I was doing. I was young.
Well, the hardest thing is leaving because
Mhm,
it's not like it happened the day after you moved in where you could just take all your boxes and turn around and go.
mhm,
Um it slowly becomes so much more so slowly
yeah,
that next thing you know you're smacked upside the face and
mhm,
going, what the fuck just happened?
mm,
Misty says, I agree with all at the first realized signs of abuse and it before it gets
and
bad.
before it gets bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great if it was, that easy. And hopefully there are people out there who are strong enough and independent enough and healthy enough to go, "Oh, yeah, that's bad," and walk away. But these people don't prey on
Mm,
strong, independent, healthy
yeah.
people. They don't. They prey on the young who don't know any better, and they prey on the abused or something that's been repeatedly happening to you because they know they can get you under their spell or their control. Um and it's a power trip for them.
But you
So,
know what? I will say too, Christine, to your point, not to cut you off,
mhm,
but I feel like to Misty's point, I think in 2024, it's a little bit different, right? Because there's so many different resources and there's so much um like it's just different. So back in the time when you and I probably went through our situations, we
mhm,
didn't feel as supported and didn't feel that there were so many resources. So now it's probably very easy for a man or a woman to say, this is not conducive to my lifestyle. I don't want it. But back
yeah,
then, uh, there there wasn't as much available. So Misty, yes, I appreciate your comment.
yeah,
Um, it's not that easy, but now today in 2024, it could be a little bit easier than it was back
maybe,
in the
maybe.
day. Yeah.
Now, someone at Country Corners Gazette said, I taught my kids to notice things like that.
Mhm.
That's great. I mean, the first
That's
thing we have to
fantastic.
do is, as healthy people, teach our children healthy um, ways of dealing with
Yeah.
relationships and communication and to look for signs and to notice things that are off, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
Um, if you're not being taught that, that's a difficult road to manage when it happens to you or if it happens to you. But I agree, teaching our kids is a great step. And I think along that idea is talking about it. So many people don't talk about the taboo things of the past, religion, you know,
Politics.
politics and money and how to be a healthy, happy person and to look for bad negative things that people are showing you sign wise. I get it. That is a great step, but we've all got to do it.
Mm,
Nikki says in Gen
yes.
X days, it was hidden and you were expected to put up with it. Yes,
Mhm.
I'm a
Yeah,
Gen Xer.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
So
Hmm.
we're here to crack that open and say, no, let's
Yeah,
talk
but I
about this.
also do want to be clear and say it happens to men too. Like I know people that men who are going through situations, and no, it may not be necessarily domestic violence is where they've been hit,
Mhm.
but it's more like they're being talked down to and they're being disrespected, and it's like
Mhm.
all these different
Mhm.
things. So I think that's something to take into consideration as well, because it
Yeah.
is not just
Well, like my nephew, he's
Mhm,
with a girl. They've been together quite some time.
mhm,
She starts drinking and gets abusive. And they are on Section 8.
mhm,
And they were homeless. And now they're not homeless. They're in a Section 8 apartment, thank goodness. But if he leaves,
mhm.
she's his source of living.
Income and living.
And
Mm,
if he leaves her, he goes back to being homeless and he cries and says, I can't be homeless again. I just can't.
isn't that
And
wild though?
isn't that terrible? I said, "Can you see if you can apply for Section 8 on your own while you're with her to try to get away?"
Mhm.
And I convinced him one time when she did hit him in the head one time. I
Oh
convinced
my
him he needed to tell. He needed to make a police report. He needed to tell so that he could get a Section 8 on his own and get away from her. And
Mhm.
then he changed his mind after he did it, and he went back and lied and took it back and
But it's crazy because you know what too, I think sometimes men when women can be abusive, whether that's like they hit you or they're just nasty or mean to you,
right.
I think it's not looked at the same way as it is for a woman going through domestic violence. But at
Right.
the end of the day, violence is violence, whether it's emotional. Emotional abuse is just as bad. So if you are a
Yes.
woman and you're telling your man, you're so fat, you're so disgusting, I hate you, you're stupid, like that's
Mhm.
the same thing. I mean,
It is.
it's not as bad. Well, it's bad, but hitting someone and putting your hands on someone is very different. But
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
Yeah. Charles made a comment about my nephew and said he put himself in a worse position because now the police won't take him seriously. And you're right, Charles. I said to him, "This is fucked up. You cannot take this back." And he said, "If I don't, I have nowhere to live." So
Wild.
I I'm waiting. I am terrified every time I get a call from him thinking, it's going to be the police saying that she hurt him or he's gone, and it's scary. And what's hard is being I didn't realize, okay, I didn't realize this. I only knew the other side. I knew the side of the abuse and being abused, okay?
Mhm.
I
Because you're the
didn't
victim,
know.
so that's
Mhm.
why. Hmm.
Um, don't they don't have shelters or programs where they live? Yeah, the shelters are very few and far between. There's a few programs. He's trying to get on them. She's on them and he's struggling. So, thank you. It's a bad situation and I wish I could change it for him, but I can't. The person has to make those decisions themselves.
Hmm.
And what I find that I am realizing is being on the other side now,
Yeah.
looking in and seeing what that person is struggling with because they're afraid they can't leave, they have no place to go, the person will kill them. I had to get a restraining order in every fucking state I went to So this
You
man
know
would
what?
not.
I never got a restraining order, but
They don't
I
do shit.
but you know what I didn't do, and this is it's like so many
Ah,
people have said so many things, but I never requested child support from my ex-husband. And
yeah.
so many people are like, oh my God, you should have taken him to court and gotten the money. But in my mind, I was like, I just want to be away from him.
Way. Mhm.
And he
Mhm.
knows he has kids. He
Mhm.
knows he has two sons. So
Mhm.
if he wants to provide for them, that's fine. But I will forever and always make a way for my children. Um, so there was that too. I just wanted to get away that bad. I
Yeah.
was just
I
like,
I know that feeling. Look, I just pulled a card for myself and it
ooh,
says clear communication for speaking your truth brings you closer to what you want. Yeah,
two
speaking your
cards for
truth,
me.
that is really true because speaking your truth, healing from domestic abuse is a step-by-step process.
Mhm.
First, it's realizing that you are worthy, that you don't deserve to be treated shitty. You have finding self-worth is your first step. Um being in counseling, getting help. Nowadays you don't have to leave the house to go do it. You can get counseling online privately,
Yeah,
secretly if you have to.
yeah.
But, I set up separate bank account and every
Mhm.
time I had spare change, I would put it in there and I
Mhm.
secretly put money away. That's step 2. There are also women's and children's crisis centers that can help you. I was working for one. I was
Well,
working. I was
that's what I was
volunteering for one when my
that's what I
husband
was
was
gonna
beating
say.
me.
That's what I was
And
gonna say. I mean, I
they
think there's
helped
so
me.
much to be given back, like give back. Like I donate, I always look to, especially during the holidays, domestic violence shelters, like um shelters for women and just people abused. They don't have like they're on the run and they don't have like clothes for their kids or whomever they left that situation with. So I like to try to be as active in that. Um, so yes,
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah,
But
hard
when
for sure.
when I was volunteering for the Women's and Children's Crisis Center, that is when my ex-husband was abusing me.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and it was because of them and my family that helped me disappear out of the state and get out. Um,
Wait, but did you not feel like being that you volunteered there? Did you not think like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing?
yeah, it's what helped me.
Mm.
It's really what helped me see that what he was doing, I knew what he was doing was wrong, but I watched these women leave with their children and risk
Mm.
everything
Mm.
to heal and to move away and to save their children, and I was like, "I'm an idiot, I'm
No.
not staying." And if it wasn't because of that, I'd probably be dead today, because he was trying to kill me. He was on a mission. And,
You
so
know
it
what?
was
Like,
that helped me.
I think, I mean, thank you for sharing your story because
Thank
it's,
you.
you
Appreciate
always
it.
share
You
your
too.
story. And I think, thank you because I never talk about it because I always feel like my ex husband will, I don't know, but I
Well,
don't
he can't
necessarily,
touch you now.
he
He
can't touch
can't.
me now. No, but it's just, it's such a private and personal, like, when you're going through that, it's so
Yes.
private and it's so personal. And
And I
you
think
look
people need to get past that.
they have to get past it. But you look at
Yeah.
yourself like maybe I did do something, or maybe, he
Mhm,
cheated on
mhm.
me for this reason. He choked me for this reason. He did this for this reason. So there's
Right.
all of that mental
Yeah.
stuff that we go through. So I think it's beautiful that you shared your story. And
Thank
this
you.
is Domestic Violence Month. So, I mean, whether it's men or women, um, if you can donate to an organization, or I don't know, like Christine, like you said, if you can just do some volunteer work somewhere. I mean, I think it's
Mhm.
so necessary because there's so many people that are silent that don't
Well,
have to be silent, but they don't know how to not be silent. Does that make
right.
sense?
Yeah. Listeners out there who are listening to this down the road or tomorrow or next week or years down the road, they catch this episode. You are welcome to email us and I will turn you towards some organizations or some places that can help you. I
Mhm.
do think that healing is your first step. Maybe if you can even quietly, privately get online psychiatric help, not psychiatric, psychological help kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then, start putting money away privately, separately, create your own bank account. Um, find a part-time job if you're home all the time and there are online um
Option.
remote work. Trying remote work, start putting money away, set yourself up to leave. Find a friend who has a couch. There are actually websites out there that you can house and pet sit, and you can go and stay. And it's something like that. Set yourself up with that and then fucking disappear.
Mhm.
Go somewhere. It's hard to get away, but I will say that we make it harder for ourselves by fear that we're going to get caught, fear that
Mhm.
he's going to
Mhm.
he or she's going to kill us if they find us, fear
Yeah.
that we won't have any money and what are we going to do and how are we going to do it. There
Mhm.
are people willing to help. So let's, if we can help you, we're happy to turn you towards
Yeah, and
wherever
we
we
have
can.
to help one another because I think it's so people are scared. Like they don't want to say or tell their story.
Right.
But I mean,
We are two women
oh
right
yeah,
here,
100.
strong, powerful, dynamites, badasses with love
Yeah.
for ourselves and love for our children and love for life. And we are happy and successful. And let me tell you something, we were where anyone out there who's suffering this is. We have
Mhm.
been there. So
Mhm.
much so that our whole lives were crazy with this. So, this is
Like,
the
yeah,
thing. Look at us. There is hope, there is light, and there is a way. So, if we can do it, so can you.
oh, I love that. I love
So,
it.
so can anybody can get past this.
Yeah,
Even if you just need a person to talk to, reach out to our email address.
yeah.
We'll call you. We'll be there for you.
Mhm.
Um, you know, we're here for everyone. Amen. Anastasia says, thank
And
you. Thank you. You know, um,
I mean, I get a million DMs a day. Not a million, that's an exaggeration. A matchmaker, like people, I get so many questions, and I will say a lot of like my DMs, and a lot of them are on how do I leave this person, or what does this look like, or should I be with this person? And
right,
so
right.
we're here for all of
Yeah.
you because we've been
Yeah.
there. Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
there.
DM us at 50 Shades of Bullshit. It's 50 Shades of _ bullshit. And spell out the word SHIT. In our email, it's 50 Shades of Bullshit SHYT at Gmail. We're here to talk about what people don't want to talk about. We're here to
Yes,
shine light on
yes,
things that should not be hidden. Let's blow the shit out and say no more bullshit, no more drama, no more pain, no more sorrow.
yes.
Let's move forward and and make ourselves happy lives and do what we can
And
to
that's what
to
it
be there
is.
for each other. And we're here for you. So
We're here
if
for you.
someone is out there, let us know. We're here.
We're here.
Um
I will miss you guys next week. I won't be here next week. I have
yeah,
a client that I matched that is throwing an
getting
engagement
married.
party. So they're
Yay.
getting married. So I'll be at their engagement party. But next week is going to be good. You've
Yeah,
got Steve.
we got Steve Oscard coming back and we're talking about some more,
He's so
things
hot.
about,
Yeah.
this month. So it'll be fun.
Okay.
So, all right. here we go. We're out of time. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for all your wonderful comments and for joining us every week. And thank you, Jaida. I love you so much.
Love you some more.
Same time, same place next week. And until then, let's keep this shit real. If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.